Now, for more on where and how the Bitcoin industry is going, I'm joined by Will McDonough. He's the founder of iCash. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as we saw, the price of Bitcoin hit a record high on October 21st after a short tumble following China's ban on trading, and then another upswing this past weekend as well. Why are we seeing these fluctuations?
Well, I think it comes down to basic economics. You know, this is a supply and demand thing. Everyone learns about that in their first economics class. Bitcoin has a defined amount of tokens that are available, and the supply is fixed. The more that demand rises, the more that people like you talk about it, and the more like governments like the Chinese government try to get involved in it, the more it accredits the platform and drives attention to it. So all these things are positive for the movement.
So how is China's ban affecting Chinese investors and their exchanges in Bitcoin?
I think you'll find that many people that own Bitcoin, they call them hodlers in the industry. Many people that hold Bitcoin are holders for a long time. They don't believe in it being 61 versus 62 versus 63. They think it's going to be worth a lot more than that. So I don't think it affects people in the interim, folks that are real evangelists for the currency and for the platform.
So are most of them holding on to it, or are some perhaps looking at other markets?
I'm sure that there's a lot of that going on, but I think what really is going on here is the Chinese government realizes that they didn't have a full grasp on what was happening here. Things were moving fairly fast, and they wanted to slow it down as much as they could so they could get a grasp on it. Post-elections, they could take a fresh look at how they wanted to play it personally. As you've seen in Russia this past week, with the Putin coin or the crypto ruble, you know, major governments, especially centralist governments, are trying to get their own foothold in it. And so I think that's what's happening right now in China, is they're trying to slow things down in their home markets because they don't know who owns what. And that's part of the whole movement is should they?
Now, China does say that it wants the healthy development of blockchain technology. So how does one distinguish between some of these high-risk and fraudulent uses versus some of these legitimate, innovative products?
I think that's fairly easy to do. You know, I think what is positive for the industry and what China should do and the U.S. should do and all industry participants should do is protect your average investor on the street, you know, as they say, the 85-year-old grandma from putting their life savings into this. This is just another asset class, just like equities and bonds and real estate are, and none of those things should you own 100% of, and none of those things should you take profound risk in. So I think there's positives to controlling that side of it. However, I don't think that it's necessary to fully ban it as they have, and nor do I think they do. I think it's just a temporary hold.
Now, some people see Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as the future. You also have JP Chase's Jamie Dimon calling it a fraud, but both sides do see the value in the blockchain technology. So what other opportunities does blockchain potentially open up?
So blockchain technology is the most important thing. I think Jamie Dimon really made a fool of himself by making those statements when it's been in the media in the same week that JP Morgan is investing in the technology themselves. And I think that was really unfortunate, and he'll go back to regret that. What the blockchain technology is that if I give $1 to you and then you give $1 to a coworker, it's an indelible marker of those transactions occurring. But what that also enables us to do is, for example, in the United States, when you buy real estate from one person, you have to buy insurance against the fact that that person actually owned that and had the right to transfer it to you. What blockchain enables us to do is state fully and clearly and transparently that the last holder of that coin or that block can legally transfer it to me. That's all that's going on here, and that's not very complex. So it can apply to real estate, to title insurance like I just referenced. It can apply to any transfer of value. If I were to wire money today to China, let's say I wanted to send $10 to Beijing,
Right.
Between fees and transfers and all that, I might get $6 net there. Whereas if I were to send a Bitcoin to China right now, I'd probably get $9.99. So it's a much more efficient way for people to be transferring value and to be creating records.
Now, a lot of people don't see Bitcoin replacing traditional currencies in the end, but a lot of people are wondering, what's the end game here? So what is your outlook when it comes to cryptocurrencies for China and globally?
So we at iCash.network are really focused on making our currency common and transputable on Main Street. We want you to be able to buy coffee with it. We want you to be able to travel with it, fill up gas in your tank with it. I think the end movement is for markets where it is more efficient for you to be able to transfer capital in that manner. This should be the standard, and that's why the J.P. Morgans of the world and the Goldman Sachses of the world are using blockchain technology. That's here to stay. There may be other industries where it's unnecessary, which is why I think I'd be hard-pressed to say that traditional currencies are going away. But
Right.
Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrencies like iCash.network are here to stay.
All right, well, thank you so much. Will McDonough, founder of iCash, an Ethereum-based token for his soon-to-launch social gaming site, Face Off.